Hello everyone, welcome to Bedtime Stories at Lowestoft Library. My name is Rebecca and today we're going to have a lovely story before you go to bed. So I hope you're all ready. Have you got your pyjamas on? Have you got a nice warm blanket that's all snuggly? And most important of all, have you got somebody cuddly that you can share story time with? It's always lovely to have a cuddle when you go to bed. Okay, so our story today is called The Tortoise and the Hare. Once upon a time in a forest there lived lots and lots of different animals. All different types of animals that you can imagine. But there were two very specific animals who were very, very different from each other. They were the tortoise and the hare. Now, the hare was always so full of energy. He was always running everywhere. Wherever he went, he ran. He'd run past people in the street and wave, but he'd be off so quickly he didn't even know if they waved back. Everywhere he went, he was quick and speedy and never ever slow. Now the tortoise, on the other hand, was always slow. He plodded along slowly, and if he waved to anybody, he'd see who he was waving to. And everywhere he went, it took him a very long time, but he didn't mind. He liked going slow. The hare didn't like the fact that the tortoise was so slow. He kept laughing at him. "Why are you so slow? You should run fast like me." But the tortoise didn't want to. Then one day the hare said to the tortoise, "I think me and you, we should have a race." Now all of the other animals in the forest thought that was a silly idea. They knew the tortoise and the hare very well, and they knew how slow the tortoise was and how quick and speedy the hare was. And they thought, well, obviously the hare is going to win the race. But the tortoise agreed. He said that he thought it was a very good idea to have a race. So on the morning of the race, the tortoise and the hare stood at the starting line. Ready, steady, go! And the hare shot off. He ran and he ran as fast as he could. And he was out of sight when the tortoise started plodding along, going slowly. Now after a little while, the hare turned around. He thought, I can't hear the tortoise and I can't see the tortoise. Where is he? So the hare carried on and he kept looking over his shoulder. Eventually the hare could see the finish line in sight, but he couldn't see the tortoise anywhere. So the hare thought he'd sit down and have a little bit of a snooze. So he snuggled up in the grass, closed his eyes and went to sleep. While he was asleep, the tortoise carried on plodding. He kept going, nice and slowly, but he carried on going. And eventually he saw the finish line, and the hare was still asleep. So the tortoise carried on, plodding nice and slowly towards the finish line. The tortoise crossed the finish line and all of the animals shouted and cheered and clapped their hands. They were so excited to see the tortoise had won. All of the noise from the crowd of animals woke up the hare and he couldn't work out where he was or what was going on. He looked up and he saw the tortoise had crossed the finish line. So he got up and he ran as fast as he could. But the tortoise had crossed and the tortoise had won. The hare was ever so angry. He couldn't understand how someone as fast as him could lose the race against someone as slow and ploddy as the tortoise. And the tortoise said to him, "You may be able to run very, very fast, but as you can see, slow and steady wins the race." So from that day on, the hare was a lot nicer to the tortoise because he knew the tortoise had won the race. So I hope you all enjoyed that and you're all ready for bed. So snuggle down, have a lovely sleep, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye.